Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
The Dakota Access Pipeline Anniversary Walk enters its second day. Observers marched from the Backwater Bridge to Highway 1806. Demonstrators prayed and buried tobacco along the route before ceremoniously crossing the pipeline. Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. It's been exactly 1 year since police cleared the North Dakota Access Pipeline protest camps. But the story begins 3 years before that. In December of 2014, Energy Transfer Partners applied for a permit to build the 1,200-mile-long Dakota Access Pipeline. It was projected to cost $3.8 billion and carry 500,000 barrels of oil a day.
Commissioner Fedorchuk.
Aye. On January 20th, 2016, North Dakota's Public Service Commission approved its permit for 358 miles of the pipeline to be built in the state. ETP wouldn't get its final permit for construction from Iowa's PSC until March. Now, the first camp of 20 to 30 people was established April 1st at the confluence of the Cannonball and Missouri rivers. Camps in the area would later swell to thousands of people. The Army Corps of Engineers still had to approve more than 200 water crossings for the pipeline, which they eventually did in July of 2016. Later in July, the Standing Rock Sioux tribe sued the Army Corps and Dakota Access. It would take until August 10th for the first arrests of protesters to happen. Those arrests included actress Shailene Woodley and Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein.
And delayed his decision.
In September, a U.S. district judge denied the Standing Rock Sioux tribe's attempt to halt construction. However, the same day, the Department of Justice and Interior Department delayed construction under Lake Oahe pending further review. Toward the end of October, law enforcement set up roadblocks and closed Highway 1806. As the number of protesters swelled, so did violence at the camp. In late November, authorities used CS gas, beanbag rounds, and water hoses on protesters at the Backwater Bridge. 17 protesters were taken to the hospital. One officer was also injured. Protests continued through dangerous cold and record snowfall in December and January. On January 18th, the Army Corps launched a full environmental study of the pipeline's disputed Lake Oahe crossing, and that could take up to 2 years to complete.
Construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline.
However, the following week, President Trump signed an executive order that allowed construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline to continue. After the order was signed, the Corps was granted an easement allowing the pipeline to be completed, and the company immediately began drilling under Lake Oahe. The tribes challenged the Corps in court again. Their appeals were rejected, and the camps were cleared out February 22nd and 23rd.
Throughout March of 2017, protests continued across the country, and on March 27th, oil began flowing through the pipeline and under Lake Oahe. Hundreds were arrested fighting this pipeline. 1 year later, those cases continue to overwhelm the court system. Morton County officials estimate legal costs have topped $700,000. Daniela Hurtado joins us now with the lasting effects of these mass arrests.
Molly, there are more than 800 defendants. Many of them are paying their travel costs to come to North Dakota to settle their cases. I spoke to a defense attorney who has worked closely with many of the protesters, and he says a big question is what the point is of following through with these cases. More than 7 months of protests brought about hundreds of arrests.
The vast majority of people that were arrested and charged and had cases and have cases still pending are nonviolent protesters.
This brought a high volume of cases, and according to the Burleigh County Trial Court Administrator, this is how the cases are split up as of this week. 519 closed cases. 12 of those are closed misdemeanor, meaning they took a plea deal, and 10 are closed not guilty. 96 inactive, meaning there are arrest warrants in place for these people. 3 on appeal to the Supreme Court, 201 open cases, and 2 cases have been reopened.
It's being drug out for a long time, and it is taxing on the staff to have to continue to work through these, but we're making it.
Saylor says the amount of cases is an organizational nightmare and costs taxpayers money.
But what is the point they're really trying to vindicate at this point? What is the reason for going on with these cases? I'm just not sure.
Her says the caseload made them change the way they track these cases.
We felt it was important to review that data, the outcome of those, to get a better picture than just what the raw data shows.
She says she doesn't know how much this change will cost the county.
Saylor says it's highly important for defense attorneys to stay organized with these cases and for each defense to be explored thoroughly so everyone gets their due process. Reporting in Morgan County for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Daniela Hurtado.
Time now is 9:05. Let's take our first check on weather with meteorologist Henry Blakes.
Hey, it's not going to be terribly frigid.
Thanks, Henry. A fire last night at the Kelly Inn in Bismarck is forcing evacuations. The Bismarck Fire Department says 18 firefighters responded to a rooftop heating unit that caught fire and spread to the surrounding area. Once the fire was extinguished, crews removed the debris. The department ruled the fire as accidental. And we're learning the name of a man killed by Stutsman County Sheriff's deputies this week. The sheriff says the victim was 27-year-old Michael Schieffer. They say Schieffer led police on a chase north of Medina on Wednesday. During the pursuit, Schieffer shot at officers. He came to a stop, got out of his vehicle, and continued shooting. Police then returned fire, killing him. 2 deputies and a police officer have been placed on administrative leave. Former Wells County Sheriff John Lawson just cut a deal with prosecutors to lessen his charges. Lawson faced charges of misconduct on the job, including bribery and selling meth. The deal calls for Lawson to plead guilty to filing false reports and ingesting a controlled substance. He'll be sentenced on March 26th. Police in Berthold arrest a 26-year-old Georgia man for possession of heroin. It's the latest in a string of notable drug arrests in the town. Police say that Stephen Brown II tried to hide in the back seat during a traffic stop. They found multiple packages of heroin on him. Investigators learned Brown has a lengthy criminal history that includes aggravated assault, kidnapping, drug and weapons charges. He remains in custody in Minot. Also in Minot, police need your help to identify 2 suspects who fled the scene of an accident. The crash happened around 5:45 Thursday afternoon in the 200 block of 16th Street. Witnesses say 3 people ran from the vehicle. They were able to detain one of the passengers until officers arrived. 2 people inside the other vehicle suffered serious injuries. If you have information regarding this incident, call Minot Police at 701-852-0111 or Crime Stopper hotline. The North Dakota GOP is down a party member tonight. District 21 Republicans in Fargo voted to revoke Peter Teft's membership. Teft is the white nationalist who came to fame during the violent clashes in Charlottesville over the summer. The North Dakota Republican Party says it revoked Teft's membership last year and that he cannot join any other district because it's based on where he lives. The GOP also said good riddance in reference to Teft. Well, Monday marks the beginning of an animal cruelty trial in Gladstone. Reporter Andrew Horn caught up with the rancher at the center of it, who says what happened isn't his fault.
9 months ago, Gary Dossinger was charged with 4 felony counts of animal cruelty and 6 other counts of animal neglect. Now, he says he's ready for his day in court.
Stark County sheriffs were called to his house on April 22nd after a report of animal abuse. Court documents showed that the vet who initially examined the animals recommended supervised care of about 100 horses and cattle. Stark County sheriffs tried to take control of the animals on May 25th, but a court injunction stopped Dossinger from losing them. Since then, he's sold or shared about half of his animals. Dossinger said in May he was thinking of retiring from ranching, but has since changed his mind.
I'm planning on keeping with the animals, and hopefully I'll find a foreman that would be able to do what he needs to do, and we can work it all out.
If Dossinger is convicted, he could face up to 15 years in prison and a $15,000 fine. Reporting in Gladstone, I'm Andrew Horn, West Dakota Fox.
The equipment manager at UMary is getting an opportunity of a lifetime. Megan Hoffman has his story. A hectic scene outside the White House today after a car slams into a security barrier. Sorry, this is the wrong video. The Secret Service say there were no shots fired and no law enforcement officers were injured during the incident. Officials immediately took the female driver into custody. Here now you're looking at a tricky rescue today in California after a man got stuck on a cliff. Officials say the man was trying to climb down the beach using a restricted pathway. This is near Torrey Glider Port. This is the second case this week where somebody needed rescuing off a cliff in California. And firefighters are trying to figure out what caused a lot full of school buses to go up in flames in Pennsylvania today. Parkland School District in Allentown was forced to cancel classes because of the fire. 25 buses in total were destroyed by the flames. Authorities in Florida gave the all clear a few hours ago after calls of a suspicious device on school grounds. That's it. Camera showed a robot taking the device away, which was located near the chain link fence. The device had wires sticking out with a timer on it, but authorities later determined the suspicious object turned out to be a water meter. Indiana State Police say there are no survivors after a small Wisconsin-bound plane carrying at least 3 people crashed in central Indiana. It happened north of Rossville. The NTSB is now investigating. 2 people were injured today in a campus shooting. It happened at Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond. Police believe the shooting happened after an altercation involving students and people not enrolled in the school. The victims are expected to survive. And major flooding today along the Ohio River. According to the National Weather Service, the river topped out at 56 feet today. Communities along the river are being placed under a state of emergency. An investigation is underway into a possible drug ring at the Naval Academy in Maryland. Officials say up to 10 people are involved. Sailors are accused of selling cocaine, ketamine, and LSD to their classmates. And 9 years after a $1 million masterpiece goes missing, French customs officials find it stuffed in a suitcase. Agents finding the 1877 work of art, The Chorus Singers by Edgar Degas, was stolen in 2009 while on loan for a temporary exhibit at Paris's Musée d'Orsay. It was found during a random search. They say none of the passengers claimed the bag. Over now to another priceless work of art, meteorologist Henry Blakes.
Hey, the weekend's looking pretty good, but
If you like fruit in your water or tea, you may risk damaging tooth enamel. A new study shows sugar-sweetened diet drinks and flavored water are all acidic, and they can cause wear and tear on your teeth. And these people had a few too many drinks. Detectives in the UK releasing shocking footage of a 20-person brawl that erupted at a pub in Leeds. Surveillance video captured the whole thing. Around 20 men are seen punching and kicking each other, smashing chairs and using glasses as weapons. Bar staff watching helplessly. Henry, if only everyone could get along as well as you and I do.
yeah, I think the alcohol had something to do with that. But hey, weather-wise, we are talking about snow for tomorrow afternoon across the south central and southeastern region. Otherwise, it is going to be rather nice, sunny, and dry across the north and practically west of Bismarck. But don't worry, if you get the snow tomorrow, then you've got Sunday to look forward to. And on top of that, temperatures are going to be mostly in the 20s, not that much wind. So even so, we're looking forward to the weekend nonetheless. But hey, several days of above freezing temperatures will make way for melting starting Sunday and into the middle of next week.
Henry, I don't blame you if you need a drink after working with me.
Not that much.
Oh, thanks. We'll see you on Monday.